Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Root Yoga Therapy. I'm your certified yoga therapist, Jasmine Leventhal, and we're here at 33 weeks pregnant as part of our prenatal yoga therapy series. Today's session is going to be all about how to prepare the body for labor and using these tools during active labor to help open the pelvis, maybe work with baby's positioning, and also utilize gravity to help baby descend. So these are things you're going to want to bring with you, whether you're laboring at home or laboring in the hospital. And also things that we can do now to prepare our body so we have that space and invite in that sense of ease and calm for a more mindful and hopefully soothing birth experience. So go ahead and jump into something comfy and join me on your mat. Welcome back. So I have my now famous reclining position set up with my blocks and my bolster. So you can go ahead and recreate that at home or, lean a pillow up against your couch, something to create this effect where you can recline because we will be doing some things on our side. We're not going to start there, but if you want to go ahead and get that set up for yourself so we have it, that could be good. And we're just going to start in a simple cross-legged seat. And we're going to kind of work the opposite of what we do a lot of the time, which is hold the core in, right? So typically we're used to bracing ourselves, kind of drawing in the navel and holding the core. And many of us carry a lot of tension around the belly. It's a place where we tend to grip when we're anxious or nervous or scared or have fear. So part of the practice is going to be how to let go of this area, how to kind of let it all hang out. Not to mention, this is typically what we've been taught, kind of draw the belly in and pull the shoulders back. But when we're working in labor, we really want to find that softness around this belly because as the uterus begins to contract, we don't want to create more tension and more resistance. So we're going to start to play with that now, kind of letting the belly hang out. And it might feel a little different and it might be hard to remember. So that's a good thing that we're practicing now. Begin to soften your eyes to close, and we'll just start to find some really easy, slowed breaths. And you want to feel those breaths moving in and out through both nostrils. And that'll just help slow down the pace of your breathing. Also, it'll help give you a little more control over the breath. And stimulate that relaxation response, which is the space we want to be in when we're moving through our labor. So we don't want to create a lot of anxiety or tension in the body. We don't want to feel like we aren't safe. The way the labor process is going to continue is to feel that sense of ease and calm and that we are safe and we can work inward and have that real strong bond and trust with our breath, our body, and of course, our baby. And just a few more breaths here. And again, think about that belly just really hanging out, loosening the muscles around the core, the ones that we typically suck in. We're going to start practicing that opposite sensation. So we can have the experience of both. We know when we need to draw in our abdominals to help support the front of our spine, and also know when we can give in and really soften around any kind of contraction. And then let's invite into some gentle body circles or hip circles. So shifting the weight forward. And as the weight hangs forward, give that belly a little more space to hang. Over to one side, back, around, forward, over, back, around, forward. Just gently bringing some movement into the spine and into the hips. Just take one more circle in this direction and switch directions. Staying easy with your breath. Good, last round. And you'll find that pause and center. Really nice. So hopefully you have this reclining set up on your mat. If not, just take a moment to find something similar or mimic what I'm doing here. And we're gonna go ahead and bring the base of our hip to the base of the bolster. Some of you, it might feel good to rest the head in the arm or extend the arm. If that's too much on the neck, you might wanna just rest the head in the hand. I'm pretty comfortable here. In fact, this is kind of how I lay in bed. So you're gonna go ahead and stack your knees, have the knees to the height of the hip, and we're just gonna do some really gentle clamshells. So as you inhale, you're gonna keep the feet and heels together. You're just gonna lift your top leg off the bottom, contracting into the outer hip, and slowly release. Good, inhale, find that lift. Imagine there's this gentle resistance. And exhale, release. Good, inhale, pushing against a gentle resistance. And release. We want these hips nice and strong. Inhale. Exhale. Good, 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last 2. Inhale. Exhale. And last one, inhale, exhale. Good. And just pausing here, keeping the knees together, taking an inhale, lifting top foot off bottom foot, and exhale, lower it down. Inhale, lift top foot off bottom foot, and release. Good. Again, inhale, exhale, inhale. Exhale. Good. 3 more. And last one. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Pausing here. Stretch that top leg forward. Flex into the foot. Good. And then we're going to lift the foot and lower it. So inhale, lift the leg and feel that squeeze and lower. Some of you might want to tap or maybe just hover the foot an inch off the mat. Lift and lower. That's 2. Good. Lift, lower. Lift, lower. Good. Lift, lower. Let's take 3 more. Lift and lower. Last 2. And last one. Good. Drawing that top knee in towards your chest, taking an inhale here. Exhale, push through the heel, straighten the leg. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, push through. Good. Inhale, bend the knee. My hip is on fire. Exhale, push through. Good. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, push through. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Last few. Inhale. Exhale. And 2 more. And last one. Good. Rebend the knee, lower the leg down, and pat out that upper hip. That builds some fire. Kind of giving yourself that little pat around your glute, around your outer hip. I also did a little workout yesterday, so I'm sore from that as well. Good. And then slowly pressing yourself up. You're going to shift to the opposite hip. I'm just going to move my setup to the other side just so I can still face forward. But if you're at home, you might just be shifting this way and work onto the opposite hip. So for those of you who are unsure of the setup, this is what it looks like. There's one block at the highest height, one horizontal at the lowest. So kind of like an upside down T shape. And then I just layer the bolster on top. I was a little aggressive with my bolster there. Okay. So you're going to come back onto opposite hip and resting your head in your hands, stacking your knees. So we'll first just open up with those very basic clamshells. So again, inhale, lifting, exhale to lower. I'm going to scoop myself up. You really want the base of your hip at the base of your bolster. Okay. Inhale, lift, and lower. Good. Inhale, lift, and lower. And lift, and lower. Good. Continue. 6. Going to 8 here. 7 and 8. Good. Pausing here, keep the knees together, just lifting top foot off bottom foot. Lift and lower. Just a different rotation in the hip. And lower. Lift and lower. That's 3. Good. Last 3. And 8. Good. Go ahead and stretch your top leg forward. We're going to flex the foot so the toes are always curling towards the face. And then lift the leg and maybe lowering halfway or tapping the toes, your choice. Lift and lower. That's 2. Good. Lift and lower. Lift, lower. Good. 4 more. 2, 3, and 4. Good. Knee pulls into chest on the inhale. Exhale, press it through. Good. Inhale, knee to chest. Exhale, press it through. Good. Inhale, knee to chest, and press it through. Good. Continue. Last 4. 3, 2. Yes, I'm feeling that burn. Know that it's coming to an end. And 1. Good. Release the knee down. Shake at the hip or pat the hip. So that point of it really burning is good to think about when we're having the contractions, knowing that there might just be a little more to go and knowing that there's an end where we're going to be able to rest. So kind of breaking it down a little bit, that it's not forever, it is temporary. Good. And then gently pressing yourself up. So we can kind of just deconstruct this a little bit. I'm going to place my bolster here. Blocks are going to come off to the side. I like to use a blanket underneath my knees for that added support. And coming into a tabletop position. So this is a good place where you really want to let the belly hang. So really letting the belly hang and just having that hanging motion or that forward motion or kind of letting the belly be like a little hammock. This is really good for baby positioning. So your baby might already be in a great position. You probably know that already if you're 33 weeks along. Your doctor or midwife has probably told you this positioning of your baby. But it is helpful to kind of find this positioning every single day because we're upright most of the day. We're going to do several rounds of cat-cow. But instead of drawing that belly in, I want to find that nice loose belly. So it might take a moment to figure out, okay, is this my abdomen letting go, or am I still kind of drawing in? And we want to look for that letting go. So feeling the baby hang. And think about, for me, the visual, I'm just rocking my hips side to side because it feels good. So feel free to do that. But for me, the visual here is more like my baby's kind of hanging out in a hammock. So just thinking of that belly or that space here is like a little hammock, and baby's kind of just like chilling in your little hammock. Okay, so I'm just rocking my hips side to side. And again, this is a position you might very well find yourself in when in labor. Having that nice weight into the belly, using gravity. And it might feel good to rock the hips. And baby's positioning is important, not just for how the baby's going to deliver, but also how the labor is going to go. If the baby has to rotate, the labor is going to be longer. So encouraging baby to be in the right position till the end of term, until you deliver, is really important. Good. Hands are going to be underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips if they're not already. And then we'll just find our cow pose, drop the belly even more, lift into the chest. And then keeping the belly, like trying not to suck it in, just kind of rounding the spine, letting the belly still hang. Inhale, dropping belly, lift chest. Exhale, round. So this should feel a little different than your regular cat-cows because we're not pulling the belly in. We're finding that nice hang. Inhale. Exhale, round. Good. And keep going. Again, great to do before bed, especially if you have been upright most of the day. I try and do this every night, at least 10 times. And if you want to do more, doing more is always good. And just following that breath. Again, another great movement that's going to help during labor. Good. Last 3. And again, if this is feeling really good, pause the video, continue. Good, and then pause and center. We're going to move into a puppy dog pose, but if you need a bolster or any other kind of pillow to help kind of prop yourself up, you can also take that reclining variation once again. I can just use one block on the second height. And I'm going to keep my hips over my knees and just kind of drop down here and really let go. So again, another great position you might want to take during labor. Let the belly hang out. And this should just feel good, rocking your hips side to side. So this is all about feeling good, kind of moving into that place of surrender, moving away from resistance. And this is a practice we're going to start building upon. And if your head, like mine, is resting to one side, just pick it up, find that balance, and drop your head to the opposite side. Now, if this feels like a place you can stay all day, maybe you'll stay here a little longer. But again, notice if you're drawing your belly in, be mindful that the belly is pulling downward and you're really allowing it to relax. We're not trying to, if we were having contractions, if you're in labor, You're not trying to fight those contractions by creating more tension, right? So we want to be as soft as possible. And find an easy breath. Good, last 2 breaths. Good, and very slowly walking your hands back towards your shoulders. You can remove any pillows or props that you have. And then releasing hands towards the floor. Let's shift back, downward facing dog. Again, a great place to let the belly hang. And if you want to rock your hips side to side or bend into your knees, kind of stretch your spine, that could feel good. But so much of dog, we think about contracting the belly, but again, let it fall down towards the floor. Good, one more inhale. And exhale, releasing the knees to the mat. Really nice. I'm going to separate my legs, coming into a frog pose just to help open up the hips. My feet are rotated out towards the outer edges of the mat. My knees are a little wider than the hips, and I'm just going to drop onto my forearms and kind of sink the weight back. Again, a great place to use maybe a bolster for some added support. I'm actually going to make my blanket a little longer here because my knees tend to go off the mat, and that's just really uncomfortable. So again, you want to be comfortable, you want to be soft. Flex those feet, sinking the hips back and just kind of working into the pelvis, working into the inner thighs. Good, one more breath here. And slowly pressing into your hands, gently walk the knees back in. Really nice. So I'm going to set up, we're going to do a little lunge, but our foot is going to be on the blocks. So I'm going to have a block at the front of my mat, and I'm going to make my way to a standing position. I'm just kind of moving my blanket out of the way. But elevating your front foot in a lunge position is going to be really helpful, and it creates more space on one side of the pelvis, and then we'll do the other side so you can, that can be really helpful for baby's positioning and using gravity. So having a block here, I'm going to step my right foot on top of that block, and I'm just going to snuggle. If you're by a wall like me, you can use that as a little helper. I'm going to snuggle my left foot back. So you want to feel pretty supported, and my right foot is now elevated, so I have a little more space with my right side. Again, I'm using this wall as a little helper with my balance, so feel free to do that. You're going to inhale, kind of lift up and out. Exhale, sink in, and you might be able to wedge that back foot back an inch or two. Inhale, lift, and sink in. Good. Inhale, lift, and sink. 2 more. And 1 more. Good. I'm going to kind of glide forward and step off. That was not graceful, but thankfully I had a wall. So if you need to move to a wall to make that happen, where you feel a little more secure with your balance, just go ahead and do so. Again, a lot of our weight now is coming forward. So if the balance is off, please really be mindful when we're doing things that are on one leg. And you have to excuse me because I get out of breath kind of easily these days. And I'm sure if you're 33 weeks or even a little bit before or a little after, you can relate. So left foot's gonna come onto the block and we'll step that right foot back. Good, and I have this nice long stance. And then, wow, see, this is what can happen. And then inhale, lift up and out. Good thing I had the wall. Exhale, bend deep. So really be careful. Inhale, lift and bend. 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last 2. And last one. Good. I'm going to press up, drag that back foot forward, and release. Good. So we'll do the same thing, foot on a block. We'll take this into a side lunge. So again, if you want to pull yourself back so you have space behind you to tap into a wall, that could be really helpful. So right foot, I'm starting on my block. Left foot's going to go out a little bit. I'm going to take an inhale, straighten into that right leg. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lunge. Good. Straighten and lunge. 2 more. And last one. Good. I'm going to press off, step off. Good. And switching sides. Block is going to move to the opposite side so I can step with the opposite foot. I'm just going to, it's kind of funky to get into these poses, I'm realizing. Good. So I have that wall here again, as needed. Inhale, straighten into your left leg. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten and bend. Inhale, straighten and bend. Good, 2 more. And last one. Good, you can press off, step off. Really nice. So we'll move our block off to the side. And we're gonna actually face a wall and we're gonna squat against the wall. And I'll show you how you can use the wall as some support and lengthen and just work into the hips and breathe. Okay, so we're gonna face the wall here. I'm gonna put my hands on the wall. You can also do this like on a countertop if your countertop has like a little lip at the bottom. If you're like in a hospital and you wanna do this and you wanna come into a squat, again, you can use a wall. So that's why I'm doing it for the wall purposes, but if you want something to grip on, have your support partner there, use them as a little prop. That's what they're there for. Good, so we're gonna take our legs nice and wide, heels in, toes out, and we're just gonna squat down. Now, it might feel good to start leaning towards the wall. My forehead is now on the wall, and I'm just creating some really nice breaths. So this is a much more active squat because I'm not resting on anything. If you wanted to make it a less active squat, you would have something underneath you. And again, lean forward, breathe. Last 3 breaths. Let that belly kind of hang in between the inner thighs. Last breath. Good. To come out, you can press against the wall, press down into your feet, and stand up. Really nice job. Okay, so we're gonna make our way back on our mat. And just find a nice butterfly position. You're gonna place your hands on the outer edges of your knees. Take an inhale, start to draw the knees in, and just go about halfway. I might need to take my feet out a little bit so I don't squish my belly. And I want you to press the knees against your hands and press the hands against your knees. We're gonna open out wide. So knees press against the hands press against the knees. Carefully open wide. Good. Inhale, bring it back halfway. So you're just, again, using those abductor muscles. Knees to hands to knees. Find that resistance. Good, and then draw them in. Exhale, open wide with that resistance. Good, draw them in. And one more. Exhale, open wide. And draw them in. Good, open the legs nice and wide and kind of hang out here. Again, you can use some props. This could feel really good. Stacking a block and a bolster. And then allowing yourself to kind of rest over that. And again, just letting belly hang, bringing some softness into the body. So it's all about how soft you can be. Good, one more inhale. Exhale, start to walk your hands back towards your shins and deconstruct. Really nice job. So we're gonna start to close off here. Again, finding that nice cross-legged seat. And we soften the eyes to close. Again, connecting with some sort of heaviness or letting go around the belly space. And I actually now, at this point in my pregnancy, when I'm sitting, I kind of like to lean forward a bit just to encourage more of that weight pulling forward versus me reclining way back. So if you tend to notice that you recline a lot on your couch and you're sitting way back, come more towards the edge of your seat and sit a little more forward. Soften your eyes to close. And think about how soft you can be. Maybe there's a place you'd like to go to that invokes that sense of relaxation, that sense of ease and quiet and stillness, where you really feel comfortable to let go into your body, where you really feel safe. Engage your senses if there is a place, noticing what it looks like, smells like, sounds like. And the place that you create is the place that you might want to visit during labor. And when you're ready, re-blink your eyes open, bringing your hands to your heart. Thank you so much for joining me on my pregnancy journey and allowing me to be a part of yours. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please subscribe. That way you can be in the know of all new videos, new content that I'll be providing. And this is also a way for you to reach me, ask me questions and comment, give me feedback on the videos, and just helps me create a better channel to better serve you. So thank you so much for joining. Namaste.